I'm Daxa Silva, founder of Never Apart. I'm here with Brock Yurich, writer and director and lead actor of T County, which we are featuring in the theater for our summer exhibitions. And tonight we're having our vernissage. Brock Yurich, Paula Mata, and Sean Palmer are all here. All the actors from the film. We're really excited to have you guys here. I think our Never Apart fans are going to really be enjoying this from July to October. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the film. So tell me a little bit about yourself, your background, and how did T County become a reality?
Sure. Do you want me to hold this? Do you want me to hold? Okay. Let me just say, I'm so honored that you guys had us here. This is incredible. I was born and raised in Ohio, in Tuscarawas County, which we called T County. And everybody kind of wants to get out of their hometown, but when you don't learn to appreciate it until you're gone. Mm-hmm. So every time I come back, I fall in love with it all over again. And
right.
So
You've been in New York now for...
I've lived in New York for 4.5 years. Right. So I went to college in Orlando, moved to New York, where I study as an actor, and I've been working as an actor, but my friend Sean, my mentor, Sean Palmer, always told me, write your own stuff. And so as I'm sitting around on movie sets and film sets, and it's a lot of waiting around.
Right.
And I just kind of felt I was bored. Right. And I was useless, and I felt like I'm watching these guys do all this technical stuff, and I'm just thinking, like, I want to see what that's like. Yeah, I could do that. I want to see what that's like. And and I have all these stories in my head. Everyone kind of like has stories they want to tell. So I just did. I was inspired by my friend's true story about her friend.
Okay.
And I sat down and I wrote it. And
I didn't know it was based on a true story.
Yeah. Really? Yeah. Loosely based on a true story, but yeah, it's that was what I wanted to. I finally figured out was like that's what I want to talk about. So I wrote this little film, and I just. When you kind of come up with an idea and then you kind of let it kind of gets away from you. This one just would not get away from me, and I was like, I have to do this. And so I just wrote the parts, and I wrote stuff, and I asked my friends to read it, and I asked my friends to be in it. I got my professor from college to play my grandfather, Sean, my mentor, to play my father.
He's been in a number of...
Sean is like a Broadway veteran. Yeah, he was the lead of Saturday Night Fever on Broadway. He was the lead of Eric. He was Eric in The Little Mermaid on Broadway. He was on Sex and the City. So he's my favorite person in the world. So I got a lot of my friends to get involved, and I raised some money, and we had some really good financing and some people who really believed in me, and we just set a date, and we drove to Ohio, and we shot for 5 days, and everyone stayed at my parents' cabin, and my parents cooked food for everyone, and we used my grandparents' house, we used my aunt's house, as little. We were as budgeted as possible, but we made it work, and it was exactly what we needed. And writing a film where we don't need car explosions, or we don't need some, I kept it. It's my first film. I kept it simple. All my parents always said, keep it simple. Whatever you're doing, keep it simple. And so I stuck by that, and that's what happened.
When I was previewing the film, we were excited to include it in the summer exhibitions. For a 24-minute film, there's a lot of twists and turns, and it's almost a little bit of a family drama thriller in 24 minutes. Yeah. So give us an intro to the film, and kind of what can people expect from T County? What is it? What is the essence of it?
Sure. I'm really influenced by playwrights like Sam Shepard. Tracy Letts. I loved, I saw Winter's Bone, with Jennifer Lawrence's first big thing, and that's what I want to do. Right. I'm really intrigued by family, like the complicated intricacies of family, and I guess in this sense, T County is more or less a country noir, a backwoods sort of drama about a young man who is living with his father and his grandfather, and they're kind of struggling to make it work, things are a little tense between everyone, and you're not really sure why. And then you kind of find out that there's Eddie is the lead character. I play Eddie. That he discovers a really terrible family secret. Not so, I mean, terrible in the discovery for him, but people have to do, everyone has to do their best, and everyone's doing what they have to do to get by, and that's really what I wanted to explore, is the gray area of that. And not everything is black and white, and yes, it might look upsetting to somebody, but when you realize what someone else had to do for you, that you're not really you don't know what they did for you.
In the family context, there's things that have to happen for that just happen.
So that's kind of what this film is about, and through this discovery, he then discovers even more upsetting stuff about choices that he's made. So it's kind of just like an exploration on the human condition and the situations that we're put in with our family. And you can't escape your family. Your family is who you're stuck with, so you got to deal with them, and that's kind of what I like. I love exploring that stuff.
So there's definitely this family drama with a couple of twists and turns in T County, but there's also some other themes that you're exploring. You want to talk about some of the other things that you're bringing in and are alluded to that are going on with the characters, or about the place that they're in?
Yeah, sure. There's religion plays a part in this film. That's something that everyone is influenced by religion. So that's a huge. I definitely wanted to touch on that and see, and everyone says hypocrisy, and I don't want to talk about that, but we're humans and we're sinners and we make mistakes, and but we try to hold on to what we believe, and I really wanted to explore that and what somebody presents to the world and what they're actually dealing with are two very different things. So that's really what I wanted to touch about. And masculinity is another big, huge part of Midwestern American culture, and the way that men are supposed to behave and the way that they do behave are very different also. And I thought that's a very interesting topic to me. So there's that. There's some other stuff. I don't want to give away the ending. I don't want to give away, but there's, when they see it, they'll, people will kind of come to their own conclusions.
So what are the, why a short film, and what are the plans for T County? This is, I think, one of the first places where it's being shown. But what are your plans, and why this format? I know it's your first effort. It's a beautiful, a beautiful film for a first effort. It's amazing. So why this format, and what are you hoping to do with this?
Well, I mean, it was my first. I made a short film because it was short. Script was short. I kept it short and sweet. It was really it's the first time I've ever done anything like this. So, I plan to do more short films. It's really, just working and getting better at what you do. You want to start off small. I don't want to start off small, but I wanted to push myself and do. This was it was a big thing. But for someone who's never done this before, this was something that took a lot of planning and that just goes to show how difficult it is to do a full-length movie. That's this was a 5-day shoot, and this was a lot of planning and a lot of time and a lot of organization. But I knew that I didn't want to bite off more than I could chew. I knew that this was the story that I wanted to tell, and if you can tell it in 20 minutes, tell it in 20 minutes. There's no need to go off and try to expand it. Otherwise, it becomes indulgent. But T County is it just got accepted in. It's showing right now at the Melbourne International Film Festival in Australia. It's showing at Central Florida Film Festival in Ocoee, the EP Films Festival. So I'm trying to get as much excitement and exposure for T County. We've written the full length version called Test. It's a different name. Same.
I was gonna ask you next. What's your next big project?
So Test is the next one. It's an exploration on steroid culture. It's the same characters, Grandpa, Dad, and Eddie, the same guys in T County, same setup. It's just I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know that I wanted to write a feature after I wrote T County. I just knew that I wanted to do T County. It was a standalone film, and that was it. And then afterwards, I realized I want to explore these guys more. I want to explore their stories. but I didn't really know how. And then a friend of mine was like, Brock, you should talk about, I have a fitness background. I have I've done competitions, and I know what the steroid culture is like, and that's affected me, that's affected my friends. And
there's a seed of an amateur bodybuilding story there that you see in T County that is waiting to be fleshed out.
Yeah. So what I've done is I've taken it and we've written a script set against the amateur bodybuilding world,
right,
which hasn't really been done before. Yeah, I don't think. I mean, you've seen it in some films, but to me, everybody. Anytime you see a character that's a big meathead or on steroids, it's always a joke, and they're always kind of the punchline. And to me, that's not the truth. Like, it's not funny. Steroid abuse is a very serious problem, and there's today more than ever there have been more and more people are doing it, and it's becoming so common. And I want to talk about it.
So Brock, you're an actor. You moved to New York 4.5 years ago, and now a writer and director of an amazing new short film. What does the future hold for you for acting?
Well, actually, the trailer just came out today for Goat, with Nick Jonas and James Franco, Ben Schnetzer, directed by Andrew Neil, and I was lucky enough to play Wes. So that's about fraternity hazing.
Right.
It's all about the frat culture. We shot it last summer, and it's going to be in theaters September 23rd.
Wow.
It's insane. It's extremely intense, and actually that film was when I saw that it premiered at Sundance, and seeing that film really influenced my my decision to make T County a full length.
Right.
And what they did is they said something. They had something to talk about, and I realized I was like, I have something to say as well. And so that's where Test kind of came from, was seeing this film and how real and gritty and important it was. I've had a couple auditions, but that's really the biggest thing that's coming out. Yeah.
Congratulations on T County, and looking forward to seeing you in Goat.
Thank you.
And thank you for being here in Montreal. Audiences summer exhibition runs till October, so you can enjoy T County in the theater at Never Apart. Thank you.